Hello everybody, Grant Helm, personal trainer, yoga instructor here at the JCA. And for today's yoga practice, we're going to be standing up the whole time, working all of our standing poses, and we're kind of skipping a few chaturanga. So if you're dealing with any wrist injuries or kind of holding in a plank is a little hard for you, this will be a good class for you because everything we're going to be doing is standing. So go ahead, stand nice and tall, feel the toes rooted onto the floor. Draw the belly button to the spine, set bones down towards your heels, lengthening that lower back. So I don't want this arch. Lengthen down, draw the belly button to the spine, rooting the ball of the big toe onto the ground, spiraling from the inner thighs to the outer hips. Nice active standing pose. Back of the neck is nice and long, draw the belly button to the spine. Remember, we're standing nice and still. It is a very active pose. Good. So I want you to begin slowly just by interlacing the hands together, elbows touching. And all we're going to do is go one elbow up and over in front of the other. Slowly lubricating the wrist, breaking apart any tissue, any tension, or maybe holding on to, any tightness. Notice the focus on the elbows up and over, which carries momentum all the way up to the wrist, which allows them to roll all the way through. Okay, we're going to pause. Now we're going to go elbows up and back over each other. Reversing the direction may feel a little awkward at first, but it's okay. And we're doing this, make sure those hips aren't leaking forward. Draw the belly button, spine, sit bones towards the heels. Good. And release. And we're very slowly. Inhale those shoulders up and back. Exhale, down and back. Inhale, up and forward. Exhale, down and back. Let's go 3 more. Inhale, up and forward. Exhale, down and back. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Now we're going to reverse. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down and forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down and forward. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Now we're going to take one shoulder up and back at a time. How fluid can you do this movement? Know the hips may get a little involved as you do this. The head feel heavy, relaxing the jaw. If the tongue is pressed on your roof of your mouth, you can relax it now. Feel this pause. Now we go up and forward over each other. As you do this, you may feel a little gentle stretch in that QL muscle in that lower back. A little release, it's like an added bonus, even though we're working shoulder rotations. Good. Now we're going into head circles. Before we do this, we just don't drop the head back. What I want you to do is turn your chin over your shoulder, gazing back behind you. Then from there, we drop the head back. Look over the other shoulder, drop the chin down. Let's go one more in this direction. Slow, fluid. Make sure we're looking back before we drop to kind of spiral the cervical column so we don't compress anything in the neck. And let's reverse directions. Inhale. Exhale back around. 1 more. Inhale. Looking back over the shoulder. Looking at the other shoulder. And back. Good. Before we come into working through the ankle circles and through the lower half, what I want you to do is keep all the toes on the ground. This is a nice little foot exercise to get the toes moving because we want to be able to have the toes just as nimble as the fingers. So keeping all the toes down, we're just going to lift the big toes up and place both the big toes back down. Again, lifting the big toes up and the big toes back down. Now we're going to go one at a time. Let's lift the left big toe up, relaxing everything on the right side. And left big toe down, right big toe up. All the toes are down and relax. Back down, 1 more each way. Left big toe comes up and back down. Then the right big toe comes up and back down. Good. Now we're going to keep the big toes down, lift all the toes up. So just like you kind of pressing that big toe down, all the toes are lifting up, and relax all the toes, keeping the big toes pressed down onto the earth. Lift all the other toes up and back down. Now we're going to work through 1 foot at a time. Left big toe stays down, other toes drawn up. And as we do this, don't keep that core relaxed. Draw that belly button to the spine, sit bones towards your heels. Still very active through the core and pelvic region. And relax those left toes. Right big toes stay down, right toes come up. And back down, left toes come up. And back down, right big toe stays down, all the other toes come up. and good. So now we're gonna go all the toes up, and we're just gonna press both the big toes down and lift the toes back up. All the remaining toes are gonna be standing up as we press the big toes down and back up. Now we're gonna go left big toe by itself, back up, right big toe, back up, back to the left, back up, and then the right big toe and back up. Good. Now it comes to quickly relax. Those feet may be burning a little bit, but it's good because we're getting those feet stronger. And what you're not able to do, don't be too hard on yourself, because this is your first time working through the feet in this way. It can be rather challenging, but the more you practice this, the better it gets, okay? So we're back to all the toes lifted. Now we keep the big toes up and bring all the toes back down. All the toes up, all the toes back down, all the toes back up. Now we just go left toes down, keep all the other toes up, left toes back up, all the right toes down, and all the toes up, and back to the left, all the toes down, big toe remains up, all the toes up, then the right toes back up. Good. Now this is kind of like a little fun one that I like to do. I call it pinky abductors. We're keeping all the toes the same, and all we're doing is just moving the pinky toe out to the side. It's a very subtle movement. So I'm just working through the left foot first. So see, all toes still, left toe goes out, back down. I don't know if you can see it from where you are, but we're just moving just the pinky toe. Look down, visualize, think on what needs to contract, what needs to engage to make this action happen. But it is definitely a fun challenge. Just work over to the right side. All the toes are lifted, but we're keeping all the toes still, except bringing that pinky toe out and back in. Pinky toe out and back in. Pinky toe out, back in. One more, pinky toe out and back in. Good. Last one we're doing, all the toes are up. We are pressing the big toes down. Then we bring those pinky toes down, and then all the toes relax. This is a tough one. You might feel the burn here. All the toes up, big toes down, pinky toes down, and all the other toes come down. Just go one more, all the toes up, and we go big toe down, pinky toe down, and all the toes down. Good. Right foot goes behind us, toes are tucked beneath you. Slowly start moving through the ankle, rotating that foot slowly around. And notice, even though we're doing ankle circles, rolling over to the tops of our feet, this circular motion carries up to our knee and carries all the way up to the hip. So as I do this, I like visualizing that head of the femur turning inside the hip socket while I'm doing these ankle turns. Good, let's reverse the other way. Ooh. And kind of keep your balance as you do this. Good, and back down. Left toes go behind you, tucking the toes beneath you, and slowly start rotating through the ankle. Slow, fluid movements. As we reverse the other way. Good, hands come on top of the knees, big toes together, heels slightly apart, knees are touching, and very subtle little knee circles. Slowly lubricating the knees, maintain that smooth breath, and we change directions. Good. Carrying that circle motion to our hips now. It's a little active balance pose. Left foot's going to be rooted onto the ground, taking that right knee up, out, and around. Slow, fluid hip circles. If your hip is cracking and popping all over, maybe make those circles a little bit smaller. Maintain that core, drawing that belly button to the spine. Keeping that same smooth breath. And we reverse circles. How fluid can you be working through the hip? Good. And we relax. Right foot's rooted. Left leg comes up and around. Working on balance as well as range of motion through the hip. Goes reverse directions. Oh, oh, there we go. Touch foot back down. Good, and we relax. Drawing the belly button to spine, so we want from our knees down and our belly button up to remain still. We're only working through the hip and pelvic region, so the head stays over the feet the whole time. as we work nice, slow, fluid hip circles. How slow and how fluid can we do this? Maybe you close the eyes and visualize all the tension being melted, erased away through the movement and through the breath. Get this pause in reverse directions, keeping the head over the feet. Good. The last one, this warm up, is called body waves. You want to pretend like you got like a sheet of glass right in front of you. All we're doing is starting from the knees. All we do is press one body part onto the glass, and as the next body part presses, the previous one comes back off the glass. So we start with the knees, then the thighs come, and as the thigh comes onto this glass in front of you, those knees come off, then the belly and hips come off, chest and hips come off, chin and chest comes off, and then back to the knees, and then the head comes off. So slow, fluid waves, very subtle, moving each vertebrae one by one. It could feel a little awkward at first, but this is something you can practice whenever you're in the shower and alone. You can practice these body waves. So start with the knees, hips, chest, knees, thighs, hips, chest, belly, or belly, then chest and chin. Good. And release. Good. Standing nice and tall, we're going to interlace our hands behind our back, and we're going to move our hands to our left hip, and our left elbow is going to be out to the side as that head falls over to the right side. So we're falling to the same side where the arm's behind. And keeping our head here as very slow as you can. We're going to slowly move that elbows out to the side, back behind us. Move very, very, very slow. How slow can you bring it behind? And once it's there, slowly turn that chin down over the shoulder. And draw the chin along the collarbone line until it touches the sternum, the center of the chest. And inhale back to our starting position. Hands come to the other side, start with the elbow out to the side. Release that ear down to the opposite shoulder. And very slowly bending that arm behind you. Until it gets all the way tucked behind you. And once we're there, even more slowly dropping that chin over the shoulder. And then from there, keeping the chin along the collarbone line as you roll all the way across the sternum. And inhale back to our starting position. Good, release those hands. The left arm comes in front, right arm comes across the forearm, pulling the arm close to the chest. Nice inhale here. Exhale, release that ear down to the opposite shoulder, kind of dropping the head down to the hand. Good. Inhale back to center. Right arm comes in front, grab from the forearm, keep that arm straight, try to keep that chest nice and square. And exhale, release that ear towards the hand. Inhale back to center, release both hands down. Let's interlace those hands. Exhale, press round that spine away from you. And when we're here in this rounded position, we can drop the shoulder down towards our hip, rocking side to side, staying in this cat-like position. Keeping that soft breath. Inhaling all the way up, drawing the belly button to spine, sit bones towards your heels, nice long line of extension. And exhale, hands to the side. Inhale, hands interlace. Exhale, press the palms away from you as you round your back. Inhale, pull the heart and chest through. And exhale, release a couple more. Inhale, palms come in front of the face. Exhale, press it round. Inhale, heart and chest come through, arms come up overhead. And exhale, release. Two more. Inhale, hands interlace in front of the face. Exhale, press it round. Inhale, all the way up the center. Exhale, release, last one. Inhale, palms come from the face. Exhale, press them around. Inhale, heart and chest come through. And exhale, palms come to the side. Inhale, arms come up overhead and interlacing. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale, fold over to the right. Inhale up the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale up the center, right arm releases, left arm reaches over top. Good. Inhale up the center. Exhale, go the other way. Inhale up the center, right arm grabs the left wrist. Pull that left wrist up and over. Good. Inhale to center, grab a hold of the right wrist, pull that right arm up and over. Inhale, back up to center. And release a couple little shoulder circles, circle the other way. As we come to the top of our mat. Inhale, arms come up, nice gentle back bend. Exhale, we fold, keeping a lot of bend in our knees as we come to our first forward fold of the day. Maybe we'll heel toe those feet about hip distance apart. Big bend in those knees. Maybe rocking a little side to side. You can have your hand on the block. Upper body is nice and heavy. And breathe. Inhale, press with both feet nice and evenly. And around all the way up, gaze comes up last. Good. Let's go big toes together, heels slightly apart. We're going to inhale, sink back to the chair. Draw that belly button, spine, sit bones, reach towards those heels. Long line of extension to the hands, building up heat. And exhale, we fold. Inhale, round up vertebrae by vertebrae. Inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale, palms to chest. Good. Inhale, sink those hips down and back to chair pose. Arms come up overhead. Belly button spine. Pull those knees back behind the toes. And exhale, fold. Each time we fold, we'll be able to straighten those legs just a little bit more. Inhale, round up vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, palms to chest. And inhale, single sit down and back to the nice chair pose. Breathe in here, each time maybe hold it for just one more breath longer. And exhale, we fold. Straighten those legs just a little bit more. Inhale, press with both feet evenly as you round all the way up. We got two more just like this as we bring those arms all the way up. Exhale, palms to chest. Okay. Inhale, sink those hips down and back, chair pose. Maybe we sit a little bit lower. Breathe, relax the face, relax the toes. Relax the tongue out the roof of the mouth. And we exhale and fold. One more, press with both feet nice and evenly as we round all the way up. Arms come up overhead and exhale, palms to chest. Last one, chair pose. Inhale as we sink back, arms extend overhead, belly button to spine, sit bones towards the heel. And exhale, fold. Inhale, press with both feet nice and evenly, all the way up to standing. Exhale, palm to chest. Good. Feet come hip distance apart. We're going to start by bending our right knee, shifting our weight over our right leg as our right hand comes onto a blocker or stool as we twist up towards our left. The stretch goes on the outside of that left leg, that's how we're twisting too. And make sure even though our right leg is bent, we're not staying on this right side, but we're shifting our weight over that left foot. Gaze can come up or you can keep the gaze down and just focus on that chest turn. Breathe. Good, we come back to center. This time the left knee bends, shift that weight over the right foot as the left hand stays as we spiral towards our right. Slowly coming back to center. Process both feet nice and evenly, round all the way up. Gaze comes up last. Keeping those feet hip distance apart. Interlace those hands behind you or grab a strap or a towel as we extend those arms behind you. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, be full, dropping the chin to the chest. Really extend those hands and arms away from you. Breathe in here, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Then we can bend that right knee, shift the hips over to the left as you look up and over to the left. As the hands go right, come back to center, bend the left knee, shift that weight over to the right as those hands fall to the left. And we come back to center, round up vertebrae by vertebrae. Gaze comes up last. Release the hands, couple shoulder shrugs. Circle the other way. Good. Coming into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So let's start with our right toes facing towards the front of our mat. Our left heels are turning perpendicular where the heel comes into the arch of our back foot. Have this block set up on the outside of that right foot. And before we fall down to the stretch, practice a hip hinge where we send our right hip back towards our left heel. So as we do this, we send that right hip towards our left heel, extending that right arm out. And exhale, fold, hand on top of the block, keeping those hips nice and stacked. There we go. Taking that back thigh, pulling it back towards the hamstring. And breathe. Keeping that back foot anchored, rooted onto the floor. Pressing through the ball of the toe of that right foot, keep a soft bend in this right knee. You can turn that palm behind you, place it onto that lower back as you open the heart up just a little bit more. Couple breaths here. We're going to bend into our right knee. If you have your block, move that block out about a foot into the outside of that right foot. As you drive this back foot a little bit closer before we lift up, you can keep that hand on the block as we prepare for half moon. Flexing through that back foot, keeping those hips nice and stacked. Nice long line of extension. If you want to challenge yourself, you can take your hand off that block. Oop. Oop. Sometimes you may lose your balance. I'm trying to keep my focus point where I look at that. There we go. Good. Very slowly bend back into that right knee. As that back foot lowers, bring the block with you as you rise up to standing. Now we're coming to the other side. So this time the right toes pivot towards the side, left toes pivot towards the back side of your mat. Place that block on the outside of that left foot. Now we're going to start off by sinking that left hip towards that back heel, reaching that left arm out. And we slowly lower. Hand can come on down to the block or to the floor. And breathe. It's not about how far you get your hand back, how much can you reach it up towards the sky. And from there, we can turn the palm away from you, bend the arm, open the heart and chest just a little bit more. Good, gently bend into that right knee, move that block about a foot and out to the left in front of that left foot. As that right foot lifts up off the ground, spiraling, pressing through the ball of the toe, the rooted foot, that left foot on the ground, spiral from the inner thigh to the outer hip, kind of roots that foot, locks that foot into the ground. Nice and strong. You can remove your hand off the block. Learned I can't really talk and try to balance. It takes a lot of focus. Good, bending back to that front knee. Back foot slowly lowers. Inhale, rise. This time let's go feet wide, pull the toes pointing forward. Nice deep inhale. And exhale, nice forward fold. And breathe. Inhale, come up halfway. Place your left hand on the block. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, we're going to spiral towards the right. Gaze can stay down on the block. Good, back to center. Right hand stays. Spiral towards your left. Good, coming back to center. Inhaling, rise and back up. Heel toes, feet a little closer. Pivot both toes towards the front of your mat. Now we're coming into pyramid pose. So if you need to, widen that base out just a little bit. Toes pointing forward. Nice deep inhale. We're gonna move that block to the inside of that right foot. Pull that right hip back towards that hamstring. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, fold over that right leg. Pyramid pose. If you have two blocks, it's better. You can place your hands on the outside of your feet or on the block in front of you. As you breathe. Left hand stays on the block on the inside of the right foot. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, we spiral towards our right. Slowly coming back to center, soften that front knee. Inhale, we rise all the way up. Turning and pivoting both feet to the back side of your mat. Keeping that width between the feet. Block comes in front or to the inside of that right foot. Nice deep inhale as we lengthen. Pull that left hip back towards that right heel. As you exhale, fold over that left leg. And breathe. Right hand stays on the block, nice deep inhale. Exhale, spiral towards the left. Pulling that left hip back towards that right heel. Slowly coming back to the center, soft into that left knee, and how we rise all the way back to center. And this heel toe, those feet coming back together. Shaking those legs out. If you had a block, you can block. Coming into a standing balance, coming into tree pose. So let's feel that left foot rooted onto the ground. Pick that right knee. That heel can come either on the shin, whole foot come to the shin, or we can go above the knee. Pressing the foot into the knee, knee into the foot. Really engaging this right glute for whatever foot you have up to open that leg up just a little bit more. Standing nice and tall. Bones lifted behind the ears. Back of the neck is nice and long, pressing onto the wall behind you. Pulling that right hip forward and through as that right knee opens out. Strong, tall. Feeling that foot rooted onto the floor. The toes are light. It's pressing through more of the ball of the feet than the toes themselves. Good. Slowly cross that right foot over. And we're going to sink down. My block's a little far away. You can have that block to help with balance as we sink that hip down. Come to a nice standing pigeon. You can focus on the balance aspect if you like, or you can focus on the stretch just by having the block there for support. rise back up. Bring that knee with you. As we hold that right knee, left hand stays onto the knee. Exhale, right arm opens back. So now we got a little twist. Oh, you may lose your balance, but it's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Just get back. Make sure we keep that core engaged. If you want to challenge it, you can look back at that hand behind you. Slowly bring that gaze back and release that foot. Shake out both feet. As we come to tree pose on the right foot, so the right foot stays. Remember, you can bring that heel to the shin, whole foot to the shin, or you can bring that foot up, press into the inside of that thigh. Engage in that left glute, open that leg out, keeping those hips nice and square. Nice, strong, tall, active pose. And breathe. Slowly crossing the foot over the knee, sinking on down to standing pigeon. Or you can focus on the balance, the stretch, or both. And now back to standing. Hug that left knee in. Right hand stays along the knee as the left hand opens up. A nice little standing twist. Gaze can slowly go back to the hand. Then challenge the balance. Slowly bring it back. And release. Shake the feet out. Legs out. Come to a nice little closing squat. Palms come together. Feet hip distance apart. Toes slightly pointing out. And slowly inhale, come down to a nice little squat. Elbows press into the knees, knees into the elbows. Back of the neck, back is extended, back of the neck nice and long. I'm here for a couple more breaths. Let's exhale, extend, hips come up, nice forward fold. As you round through the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, hands come up overhead. And palms come to chest. Namaste. Thank you for practicing today. I hope you enjoyed it, taking a break on those wrists, forearms, plank, and on the ground. So it's a nice little fun practice, but I hope you enjoyed it. And any comments, questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out, and hope you have a great day. Thank you.